USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Are you really, really close to him, or were you? It took you too long to answer. So that's not even like, oh, he's like a son to me, that's why I did it. It's not even that.
This is the plaintiff, Samantha Brown. She says she financed a Toyota Corolla for her nephew, the defendant. And let's just say things didn't work out as planned. He was always late on his payments. He got a parking ticket. And she has since learned a very valuable lesson. You simply can't do nice things for people in this world because they'll just take advantage of you. She's suing for $453, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Fred Brown. He says their agreement was he'd pay the car note, and as long as there wasn't any late fee, everything would be fine. He did, in fact, pay the car notes, and then one day his car was gone. At first, he thought it was stolen, but he later found out the plaintiff took it and actually gave it to someone else. She has some nerve suing him here today because she's the one who owes him big time. He's accused of letting an ante down. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,000 for breach of contract and prepaid insurance.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milan in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Samantha Brown?
Yes.
You are suing your nephew, Fred Brown, for $453, $393 of it a February car payment, and $60 for a parking ticket. Because according to you, you had an agreement with him that he breached for that car. All right, why don't you tell me what was the agreement?
The agreement, Your Honor, was he asked me to finance a car for him because his credit was bad.
How do you get bad credit?
Because I guess he don't pay his bills. And
did you kind of think that one through?
I didn't really think it through because he had the financial capacity to pay for the car. He told me that he had the money to pay for it.
Sometimes people just have the money and don't want to share it.
Absolutely,
That's how you get bad credit.
Right.
You know, how did it go for you? By 1 month? That's how long the whole thing lasted? Because he didn't pay?
No, every month he paid late, like 4 or 5 days late. And finally, in February, he was 2 weeks late. And he sent me a text message asking me, is it okay if he'll be a week late making February's payment? I texted him back and I said, that's fine, that's okay. A week later, when he was supposed to pay for February 28th payment, I called him and I asked him, do you have the money? He said, no, I'll give it to you on Monday. So right there, I knew that he was just trying to drag it out so he wouldn't have to pay. So I went and took the car on a Saturday. I had the spare key.
What day was that?
That was, I believe it was March the 9th.
And what kind of car was this?
A 2011 Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
I went and took the car by his house. And but before I went and took the car, and I told him, I said, listen, not only is your payment late, a week late, you also have 2 tickets that you got in the month of February that you didn't pay for. 1 ticket is a month late. He said, oh, I don't know anything about any tickets. I said, well, I'll print them and I'll show you. I printed the tickets and then—
Are you really, really close to him, or were you? It took you too long to answer. So that's not even like, oh, he's like a son to me, that's why I did it. It's not even that.
Well, he is like a son to me because I did take care of him when his mom passed away. So I try to help him out as much as I can.
What's your deal?
All right, first things first. The car she's claiming that I had is not the 2011 Toyota Corolla. It was the 2000 Nissan Sonata, the one she has.
The Nissan Sentra?
Nissan Sentra, the one she has. I had that car from the beginning. The payment was $300. She switched. She's controlling. She switches the car, and I was paying her $393 every month, never late. I told the bank, switch the car payment to the first. That's when I get my money around the first. She never did that.
When was the car payment due?
It was due on the 28th every month, but the bank said we could switch it to what fits us. She never switched it. We was having problems with bills, whatever she was going through. She kept calling me 3 weeks at a time. Oh, her payment. I will pay her. Never had a problem paying her.
Apparently you had a problem on February 28th.
No, I did not have a problem on February 28th. What happened was, on January 1st, I made the car payment in full. I paid the insurance. After I paid her, I went upstate. I got full of the gas. I'm broke. All I have is money for tolls to take my son back upstate. She calls the cops the same day on the January 1st and said, I stole a car. The cops called me on the phone and said, bring her the car. I explained the situation. They said, it's a messed up deal because she owns the car. I have to give her the car. I'll be arrested for stolen car.
But it's not stolen. It's a civil dispute.
But
that's a lie to say it's stolen.
But because, yeah, that's what she did. So I had to give her the keys. The next day on the 2nd, she called me back with a different contract, said, oh, I want you to sign this contract in order to get the car, because she knew I was in a bond. I had to get my son back upstate.
So is there a contract you guys signed? Let me see it.
It's a second contract on a 2nd. That had nothing to do with
this is the one and only
contract.
Okay, but you say it again.
That was she forced me to sign because she knew I had no way of getting my son back.
How big was the gun she put to your head? Fred Brown. Why? Because your son needed a ride?
No, I had to take my son back upstate where he lived at.
Okay.
And I was going to court with that situation, and I had no way of getting there.
Fred Brown asked Samantha Brown to finance the white 2011 Toyota Corolla for me. Fred Brown agreed to pay $393 a month for the car note and whatever amount for car insurance. Fred Brown also agreed to pay for any tickets I received for the 2011 Corolla. Samantha Brown, agree not to call the cops or threaten to take his car as long as payments are made on time. Okay, go on.
All right.
Who wrote this?
I did.
Okay.
So
he insisted on that last part, right?
No, I told her to pay more.
Right, that's what he wanted.
Because it's squeezed in.
I told her to pay more. She did not want to pay more. She wanted to do basically
everything. It doesn't matter to me. I am a contracts person. I am not is she a good aunt?
All right.
Do you have children of your own?
No.
There's a saying in Spanish. Let me try to get it right. Hold on. A quien Dios no le da hijos, el diablo le da sobrinos. To whom God does not give children, the devil gives nephews and nieces.
That is the truth. They give you some very wicked nieces and nephews.
So now you're in a new agreement. This is a contract that I am bound to enforce. January 28th comes along.
All right.
And in the beginning of February, you pay January 28th?
Yeah. I paid it. The next payment for the 28th goes for the next 28th.
February 28th is now the next payment.
Yeah, it goes from February 28th to March 28th.
Yeah, I understand. So the next payment that's due is February 28th. Did you pay February 28th?
I was late. But I wasn't late enough to get a car. The bank fee or whatever, the bank said we have a certain time to make the payment before it becomes a late fee or whatever, before it becomes late, whatever. So I gave her $100 towards the car, but she borrowed because she was hungry and she didn't have money, so I gave it to her.
Did he do that? He gave you $100?
We had.
Yes or no?
What happened was he had the accident in the car. My other nephew has a learner's permit. So he gives him a driving lesson at night in the car. They have an accident.
What was the accident?
What happened was, it wasn't a driving accident. He was driving the car because I was intoxicated. So.
Oh, that's why he was driving the car?
So what happened was, I wasn't that drunk. I just didn't want to. I have a commercial license, so I didn't want to drive at all to get points on my license. So he swerved and I moved the wheel. If I didn't move the wheel, the accident would have been worse. But she complained about me letting him drive the car. When I told her, oh, he swerves, she argues with me. He don't swerve. She calls the insurance company that I staged an accident. But then she called the insurance company, said I staged an accident.
Did you call your insurance company that insures your car and tell them that he staged an accident?
Because I was getting anonymous text messages on my phone stating that he staged the accident.
Oh my goodness.
2 weeks later.
Did you, wait, was she always like this, like you're describing?
Yes.
It's awful.
So then
you're Cruella de Vil. I thought he was like the devil sent nephew, but you're like Cruella de Vil.
So then after that, after I tell her he swerved and I had to pull a well, 2 weeks later, we have a baby shower. She gets mad with me because I let him drive the car. 2 weeks later, we had a baby shower.
Whose baby shower?
My other cousin's female. She let the same person I let drive the car drive her car. She calls me up in the middle of the night and say, he's swerving, what should I do?
Really?
Your Honor.
Wait, just tell me if that phone call happened.
Right, I called him. I was like, you're right. Nate does swerve.
So you call him while Nate is swerving?
No, not while he's swerving. At night after we got home, I called him. I said, you know what? You're right. Maybe your accident wasn't staged because he was swerving when he drove my car.
Did you really think the accident was staged?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because Nate's mother texted me anonymous messages for 2 weeks straight.
That's not anonymous.
It wasn't from her phone. She didn't use her phone. She used a different phone. So the name didn't show up.
And she was saying?
She was saying, Junior, we call him Junior. Junior staged the accident. And I didn't know where these texts were coming from. So then he would call me and say, why are you texting me telling me that I staged the accident? Because she was texting him anonymously also from another phone.
That was you.
And no, it was not me because it's not my number.
Okay, but why would she think, let's just say that she thinks or believes you staged it.
My family have a problem. When they get upset, they want to cause friction to the whole family and say, oh, he said this or he said that, and this is what happens. And she calls me and accused me of doing this, saying he does not swerve, calls the insurance company, got the insurance company calling me, asking me all types of questions. But then she do the same thing, let him drive, then calls me and say he swerves.
Okay, all right. Can we please get to March 9th?
All right, March 9th come. Okay. She texts me.
You haven't paid the February 28th payment.
No, I didn't get a chance to pay it. I gave it $100, so it was $293. I said, I don't have it right now, but she kept bugging me. So I said, I don't have it right now, I'm gonna have it by Monday.
Monday would have been March what?
12th? So, but I turned around.
2 weeks late.
But then I turned around and asked my father for the money, which he loaned me the money, and I called, I said, I'm gonna bring you the money. She said, okay, fine. I come out the house to get in the car's gone. I calls her up. Samantha, did you take the car? No, I did not take the car. Maybe the car's stolen. You better call the cops. You better find my car. So I hang up on her, about to call the cops. She called me back. Oh, yeah, I got the car. I have a buyer for the car. So the whole time, she's running the dealership. She give a car to somebody else totally different and tell the lady, oh, you can have the car for $300. I'm going to pay the extra $93. Now she's kind of...
I had to pay off his past due from February. I had to get the money. Otherwise... I would owe the bank, and they take the money from my account.
See, she wouldn't have to be giving it at a fire sale if you were just doing what you're supposed to do. Why wouldn't you just pay it on time?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Would you sue your nephew if your nephew intentionally screwed you over on a loan?
No.
Why?
Because family over everything.
Family over what if it's a lot of money?
Maybe.
Family over everything, but what do you think?
No, I wouldn't sue my family, my nephew.
But if they disrespect you enough not to pay you back, why not sue them?
Well, because in this country we have a legal system, but we don't always have a justice system, so it may go either way.
Okay, I kind of get your point. Going inside the courtroom.
Why didn't you pay on time? What is your complaint?
I had other bills. I had things going on.
Okay, well, but you understand cause and effect, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I mean, that's the first I was late. But then the insurance, I paid the insurance from the whole month, from the 18th to the 18th. She took the car on the 9th and had somebody else driving on the money that I paid for, instead of turning the plates and stuff in and giving me my money back. That's what insurance companies do if you turn the plates in.
Okay, so I have a question for you. How much do you pay for insurance every month?
What is it?
$233 because we had
That's what he pays.
Right. And I switched to State Farm
so you came up with that figure because she repossessed it on the 9th. You want back the rest of that time until 3/18.
Yes.
Okay. February car payment then was never paid. Let me see the parking ticket.
Parking ticket, I have it here, along with the payment that I made.
Okay, let me hear from you on the parking ticket.
It was a snowy day yesterday. I got a ticket.
Okay.
I told I was going to go to dispute the ticket. So I went down and disputed the ticket. The judge told me you cannot get a second hearing on a ticket that was already disputed. I said, well, I never disputed it. I called up and I said, Samantha, why didn't you tell me you disputed the tickets? She said, oh, I thought you could get a second hearing on the tickets. So I said, you disputed it? She said, no, I had a friend dispute it. I said,
and pretend they were you?
Disputed with me. I said, so Samantha, I said,
pretend they were the driver of the car that got the ticket.
Once that person took responsibility of that ticket, You responsible for that ticket.
Dude,
The simple fact
listen to
is,
me.
the
Cut it
ticket-
out.
the
Just
judge
cut it
told
out,
me-
all right? Cut
the
it
judge
out.
told me the ticket
Cut it
was
out. You had 2
clearly-
tickets. You should have had $120. Put your hands down and stop.
The judge told me-
No. Okay? First of all, you owe February's car payment. You didn't pay it. You owe February. You did pay $100 of that car payment, so
Right.
that means it's $293. She argued $120 worth of tickets because they're in her name and got them down to $60, and you're complaining because you think you would have done better. Judging by how you've done here, I don't think so. All right? So I'm going to add that up. That's $356. I, however, do agree with you that the unused portion, put your hand down, the unused portion of the insurance is something that you should get credit for. So from that $356, I'm going to deduct the $78 of insurance. You don't get $922 in damages because she, quote, breached your contract. Your contract is to pay on time. You owe her $278 judgment for the plaintiff, net judgment for the plaintiff on your counterclaim. I had taken into account the 78, the 922. You got to be kidding. Good luck, folks.
So the defendant comes out. I have a funny feeling you probably got more to say here.
Yeah, she's a disgraceful.
Easy now. You don't want to end like that.
Yes,
do
I
you?
do. And
That's
she's
it?
not family. She's a liar. She's a manipulator. And that's it. I have nothing to say to her. That's it.
All right, this way. Right this way. That's your auntie, and that's your family right there going
Yes,
out there.
it is.
That's what's going on in the family here.
He's a compulsive liar, and I'm sorry that I financed the car for him, and I knew he was a compulsive liar before I did it, but it really taught me a lesson this time to stay away from liars and scam artists like him.
Okay. All right, Harvey.
You know, just a real simple premise here. You should be very slow in helping somebody out buying a car. If that person is having financial trouble, you are rolling the dice. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
The McDonald's snack wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch snack wrap. Spicy snack wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
These are the plaintiffs, Corey Greco and James Kalazakis. Corey says she let the defendant use her dog as a stud to impregnate his female dog, and now he's stiffing her on the stud fee. That's right, the guy's going back on their agreement. She's due $1,767.40, and that's exactly what she's suing for today. This is the defendant, Nicholas Sakala. He says the plaintiffs tried to extort money from him after the birth of the puppies, and they also threatened him on the phone. If anyone went back on their original deal, it was the plaintiffs, not him. In fact, if anyone's owed money, it's him. He's accused of being bitter over a litter. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for extortion, breach of contract, and lost time from work.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff's dog was used as a stud for the defendant's pooch, and the defendant isn't paying the stud fee. Okay. The defendant says the plaintiffs are extortionists. It's the case of what a stud.
Corey Greco
Yes.
and James Kalazakis.
Kalazakis, yes.
Kalazakis. You are suing Nicholas Chikala
Yes, ma'am.
for $1,767.40 that you feel he owes you for stud fees and some supplies after, according to you, he breached an agreement to breed your 2 dogs. Tell me what happened.
Yes, Your Honor, I've been a breeder of boxer breed for over 10 years now. That's my stud dog, Comrade. I got him about 2 years ago from Russia. I had him imported from Russia. Back in July 2012, we were at a barbecue which I saw Nick there, and he told me that he had a female that was around 3 years old that he wanted to breed. He said his female was in season. So I said, okay, well, when did she start her season?
Okay, let me ask you a question. So you two do end up agreeing to mate the dogs, right?
That's
To breed the
correct.
dogs. And the agreement is, if I understand correctly, the original agreement was that if the dog got pregnant, that when the dog was going to have the babies, the dog would go over to your place because you know what you're doing.
That's correct.
The dog would have the babies. You would take care of the babies.
Yes.
And then you would sell the babies.
Yes.
And then he would get 40% of what? The purchase price? And
Of
you would
the-
get 60.
Of the net profit.
Of net profit?
Yes.
Okay. But what went wrong? Because when she was
When
going to
we-
have the baby,
She ended up coming to me. He brought her to my home, and when he got to my home, he pulled up in the driveway. He had her in a little tiny crate in the back of his SUV. And all of a sudden, I look down, I see that her Volvo was swollen and full of pus. I said, there's no way that she can deliver out of this. I said, she can't pass puppies through this. And then we told Nick and his wife, we said, you need to go to the emergency clinic right away, right now. She needs emergency care and she needs a C-section. And he said to me, he just stood there looking at me. And so I ran upstairs and got my husband. I ran with Chris, got my husband, Jim, and I told him to come down, and he came down. He told Nick, this dog cannot stay here. This dog needs medical care right away, and she needs a C-section.
all right, did you take the dog to have a
Immediately.
C-section? Immediately?
Yes.
And what happened when you went to the vet?
Okay. The first thing that they stated was that there was low milk production and that she wouldn't go into labor anytime soon. They said a couple of days. However, they said to go in the next morning and schedule a C-section.
Okay, and did
Which
you?
is what we did. Well, unfortunately, we didn't have that opportunity because that night the dog's water broke at my house.
Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is the dog, as soon as it happens, I call, my wife calls her, while she's calling her, I'm
Come on up, please. Go ahead. You call her and you
Yes.
tell her, we need you to come, the dog's...
Yes, please come right away. The dog, started to deliver the puppies. She's like, I'm on my way.
Okay.
So the first one came and was dead. And then the second puppy came, which is the female,
the female,
and she was fine. And then by the time she got home, we already had,
To
of
your
course,
house?
yes, to my house, the dead puppy and the
And the
little
healthy
girl
puppy.
were fine. Yeah.
Okay, that puppy survived, the healthy puppy survived?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what happens? So you get there and then tell me what happens.
I waited approximately 3 hours with my son, and no puppies were coming. I said to him, well, this isn't good. They're suffocating inside the mother.
So why didn't the two of you
told
take
him
the dog to
before-
the emergency vet to have a C-section?
He wouldn't take, he
Ma'am,
didn't want to pay the money, Your Honor.
That is 100% false.
He didn't care about the puppies or the dam.
Your Honor, the truth of the matter is, while my wife was on the phone contacting her, I immediately contacted the ER where my dog had been examined. They said, you're putting your dog in danger trying to move her while she's in labor to bring her to the hospital. It's not going to help. If she's past 2, you need to let her pass the rest. So what ended up happening was she came, none of the dogs delivered.
You don't have, that was what the person from the emergency room told you?
Correct.
Do you have that in writing?
No, I do not.
No. Okay.
No, I do not.
All right, now, you are having this disagreement there, and then what happens?
Well, first of all, the night that the next day I called him.
Wait, no, what happened that night?
Well, that night I went home.
Why'd you leave, though?
Because he would not take her for a C-section. Okay. She needed a C-section, Your Honor.
Okay, and what was he saying to you was the reason he wouldn't take her to a C-section?
He said that he didn't care about the puppies, that all he cared about was he did say he cared about the dam, and he didn't care
You
about
said
the
a minute ago
puppies.
that he didn't even care about his dam.
The way he was acting with other stuff.
What did you say?
He threatened to leave the dog on the side of the road pregnant. From my
Outside
house.
where?
From my house, yes, you did. You also did not want...
You're
Sorry.
not in some alley.
I'm sorry.
You're in my courtroom. You don't talk to the litigants.
Apologize.
But in any event, you leave because things are now getting out of hand and you don't like how they're going. You don't want to be a part of it. It's upsetting you, so you leave because you want the C-section. You want him to move the dog and have the C-section. And then how many dogs were born?
A total of 11 puppies were delivered, 4 of which were live.
Did you ever go back the next day to see that?
I called him and I asked him what was going on. He lied to me and told me there was only 8 puppies.
Born?
Yes, that's correct. And 4 were
Okay.
dead and 4 were alive.
Okay, now what would be the market value of one of these puppies?
The market value is usually range from $1,400 to $2,500.
Wow. So now what happens? Do you guys talk about how you're going to alter the contract now?
We did not, because at that point I wasn't sure if I was going to sell the puppies, Your Honor.
Okay, so when do you talk about it?
When I go back when the puppies were 4 weeks old with puppy food, and I also went there to deworm and show them how to feed with a puppy pan that I also lent them.
Okay.
At that point, I was leaving the home. I said to him, Nick, since I'm helping you, I offered to sell the puppies again, and I offered to take them at 6 weeks old to my home and care for them and feed them 3 to 4 times a day and sell them and take them to my vet for their wellness checkup and pay for that out of my pocket, and also register the litter, which is around $50. I said, since I'm going to split some of the work with you, how about we just split it 50-50 and call this even? We'll split everything 50-50 and call this even. He said, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. I'm doing all the work, and da-da-da-da. So that's when I just got very upset. He wouldn't even look up and say
This was
goodbye
at the
to me.
4-week mark?
This was at the 4-week mark.
Okay.
And I left. I went home. I told my husband. My husband called him on the phone.
How'd that go?
Not very well.
How come?
So how do you feel about private people who breed these dogs, their own dogs?
Personally, I think it's very irresponsible because they're profiteering and they're not taking responsibility for all the overpopulation. A lot of dogs are being put to sleep as a result. So I think there should be some kind of regulation.
Anybody have anything to add to that? Because that was a pretty good point.
I think if the dogs are being well taken care of, and the people are passionate about taking care of the dogs, then they should be able to do it.
Okay, 2 points of view going inside the courtroom.
I was more worried about her selling the dogs and them being damaged because they were in the womb so long, and you really can't tell if the dog is brain damaged till it gets older. And that's kind of a difficult thing to do with her name, and she's very reputable.
Wait, she wanted to take the dogs?
Yes.
So
I was the one who said no, I didn't want it to. I didn't want anything any more to do with this.
Yeah, but now you're in
agreement.
court because you want to be paid a stud fee, which was never the agreement. He was never going to pay you a stud fee. You can't change the agreement and ask me to enforce a contract that didn't exist.
Well, the 60% included the stud fee, and he was aware of that.
Well, that's great, but then you didn't abide by the contract that you guys had agreed to. You want me to pretend that it's just a stud fee, and I can't. And you want me to pretend that they have nothing to do with it, and I can't do that either. Now, apparently, at some point, you do have bad blood, because when you tried to sell these dogs, they won't let you use their stud's name because you won't pay the stud fee.
Yes, we get a voicemail, a very, very violent voicemail by the plaintiff, the husband.
Do you have it?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, let's hear it.
Hey, Nick, this is Jimmy. You know, I tried to be nice about this whole thing, right? I'm not being nice no more. You killed 7 puppies. You killed $12,000 out of your pocket. This is all your fault, okay? I'm coming by tomorrow for a stud fee, $1,500. I'm done talking to you and dealing with you, right? You're nasty to her, and you're nice to me. I don't get that. All right? Me and you can have a problem. All right? We want all our stuff back and the check. I'll stop by tomorrow. End of message.
What'd you do?
I called the police. They said it was a civil situation.
What happened the next day?
He didn't show up.
Okay.
We took.
Do you have
all the
another
stuff
message
out.
from him?
Yes, I do.
Let me hear it.
Hey, Nick, Jimmy again. Sorry about it again. One more thing. If you used Conrad's name or his background or tried to do anything wrong with the AKC papers, I will find out about this. It's not going to be good for you, Nick. It's really not. I'm sorry, but...
Okay, so what did you do?
At that point, I called a lawyer and asked them. Provided them all the information that I had.
What'd the lawyer tell you?
He said, "Listen, let them take it to court because they're going to see that they keep changing."
What do you think you owe them?
What's that?
You heard me.
I don't think we owe them very much of anything, ma'am. After
You
what
think you
they've
owe them
put us
nothing?
through.
You have 4 puppies thanks to the sperm of his dog.
We don't have the 4 puppies.
What'd you do with them?
Well, we sold 3 of them. Considering the fact that they gave that voicemail saying that there was no way that we could use their information at all, it was well below market value.
What'd you sell them for?
$500 a piece.
You sold 3 of them and kept one?
No, we gave a dog away. I do have pictures of the dog, so.
Let me see them. You have a counterclaim against them for $5,000 for what?
For breach of contract, because while there was nothing signed, we felt as though that they.
Yeah, but how do you come to the figure of five? Oh my gosh, you're so cute.
Oh, I have paperwork here.
Okay, I want to see proof of all of the expenses
Here you go, ma'am.
that you say you incurred with the dogs. And also, did you do any bills of sales with these 3 sales?
No, we did not.
You didn't? You didn't
No.
get it in writing after all this?
You know what? It was, at this point, if there was an issue, we actually
How
had.
do I know you sold them for $500 and not for more?
That's all.
I mean, obviously, you have affected the price of the sale by refusing. That last little phone call, I hope it felt good, because you were nailing yourself when you did it, right? Because if they can't use, I mean, you understand that.
Yes, I do.
All right,
We
what's
did
that?
advertise
What's in your hand?
He advertised the dogs for $1,100 a piece.
He advertised them for $1,100
Yes, he
a
did.
piece?
Because of the fact that they couldn't. We advertised for 11. That doesn't mean we were able to get it.
I don't know. I don't know what you got. Do you have paperwork anywhere about your sales?
No, I don't.
You bring me no proof of what you sold the puppies for. Did you take cash? Do you have the names of the people you sold them to?
No, we don't. All we did was tell them that what they needed to do.
You know who you sold them to.
Wait, we sold it to a couple
Friends?
people that we do know. Yes.
Okay, so why did you say no when I said, do you have the names of the people to?
Because I don't have. There was 2 people that we didn't have.
They may be wrong, but they're straight. I'm gonna assume you sold those puppies for $1,100, which means that you're not out anything. So I'm not going to order them to pay you anything else, because I am very uncomfortable with the fact that you did not bring me proof of those sales, that when I first asked you, do you know the people you sold them to? And it was no. And then it was, well, come on, you sold them to friends, right? Yeah. No. Now, here's the thing. You want me to impose yet a 4th agreement that nobody ever agreed to, and I can't do that for you, because you bailed in the middle of, the birth. You have, there's nothing to, but if you change your mind, you change your mind, and that's fine. But then when you do that, and it makes you feel good to pull the plug again and to change all that stuff, that's great, but there are consequences to that. You can't then come to court and make me force a contract he never agreed to and pay you a stud fee. No. So on your counterclaim against them, 0, and on your claim against them, 0 as well. Good luck, folks.
Both sides hold on right there, please.
Wow, so zeros on both sides here. So step on in here. You satisfied with how the judge sees this?
I don't know. I just.
All right. How's the dog
He's
doing?
good.
All right. He's not going to growl at me, right?
No,
Okay. Good. All right. Good boy. Okay. Good boy. Hey, good dog. Yeah, nice dog. I like that. I like the dog. Okay, head right down this way. Nice dog.
Guys, this goes back to you. That's all the paper.
All right. So you get nothing out of this either. You're not too sure on the judge's part whether how forthcoming you were in there.
I wish I had paperwork to back it up.
She wishes you did too. Yeah. Why didn't you bring it?
I just didn't have it.
Yeah. Harvey?
Well, here's the thing. You have got to get these deals nailed down, the specific terms of deals like this, and it is so preferable to do it in writing. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case in the way to the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtual Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your virtual pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
This is the plaintiff, Nathaniel Washington. He says he hired the defendant to repair his upstairs bathroom. The guy worked on it for about 4 weeks, but left before the job was 100% done. When he approached the defendant about the missing tiles around the bathtub, he said he'd come back to finish the job. Then a few weeks later called him and told him he wasn't coming and he wasn't finishing anything. Huh? He has no other choice but to take him to court for the $300 he's owed, and that's just what he's doing here today. This is the defendant, Mark Weston. He says he warned the plaintiff there was a rotten subfloor below the tiles due to a flood the guy had, and told him if he wanted it repaired, it would cost him an additional $2,600. The man told him he didn't have that kind of money to fix the problem, would call him when he did, and then turned around and sued him. He's accused of not finishing up.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to repair his bathroom, and the guy bailed on the job. But the defendant says the problem was that the subfloor was rotted, and the plaintiff didn't want to pay to fix it. It's the case of, you're as rotten as my subfloor.
Thank you, Douglas. Nathaniel Washington.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
are suing your former handyman, Mark's Handyman Services, represented here by Mark Weston. Okay. For $300 for a tiling job that you say was not completed. Tell me what's going on.
I hired Mark to replace the floor by the bathroom, by the tub.
What does replace a floor mean?
The floor was rotted.
Okay.
And I hired him to replace it, and from that
Wait,
point...
stop. You hired him to replace a rotted floor.
Yes.
Can I see the contract you have where you're hiring him to replace a rotted floor? Okay. For $300. Okay, this is a contract where you're hiring him to repair floor area next to bathtub, install tile backer subfloor, and customer supplied tile and grout to floor, approximately 45 square feet. Remove existing vanity and sink and install new customer supplied unit, $1,200. Okay. So this is for more. So I guess from that evolved him changing the vanity and whatever else you wanted changed.
Yes. What happened was the job started off with him just doing the floor for $300. And then we included in that he would tile the floor and replace the vanity. And then when he came to do that, when he replaced the vanity, he says the pipes, he had to replace the pipes, so that made it $400 more.
Okay.
So it went to $1,600.
Right.
Yes.
And then what happened?
So he replaced the vanity, he tiled the floor up.
What kind of tile?
Ceramic
Okay.
tile. He ceramic tile up until about 2 feet from the bathtub, and he didn't do anything else. He just cut out the rotted part, and he didn't do the floor.
What did he say to you?
He said after we got to the bathtub, he wanted to take my bathtub out and replace it for $2,500.
Okay.
And that was when I said, I think I better get this guy out of my house. Because
you thought you were getting a new bathroom for $1,600, and now it's going to cost you three times
Yes, we
that.
started with $300 and ended up at $41.
Wait, in fairness, the job for $300 was one thing, and then you had to do a bunch of other stuff. All right, talk to me. Tell me your side of it.
So how do you protect yourself when you make a contract for somebody to repair your place to make sure that all of a sudden they say, oh, it's 5 times more than I thought it was going to be?
Well, you want to make sure you have a written contract first, and you also do a background check on the contractor, make sure he's licensed.
I got it, but what do you do in terms of the money to make sure it's not going to spin out of control?
Well, I think you should have a good negotiation.
But what do you say? I mean, how do you do it?
We have them come and look at the house first.
How do you do it? Anybody?
I'm a contractor.
What do you do?
Well, you have to have a contract, obviously.
Okay, but what do you do?
You always have to allow some extra money, because in a contracting job, there's always overtime, there's always over budget.
Spoken like a contractor going inside the courtroom.
Contracted to tile the floor and do some extras, put the vanity in. He knew there was an issue next to the
Hold on one
bathtub.
second, because you just said, I contracted to tile the floor, but I'm looking at your contract, and what
Right.
it says is, repair floor area next to bathtub, and also tile the floor.
Right.
But it says repair floor area next to bathtub.
Right.
Okay.
He knew there was an issue there. I guess years ago there was an issue there. So we started tiling the floor. Once we got to the bathtub, we realized there was an issue under the bathtub. It must have been leaking for years and years and years. I have pictures of it all.
Yeah, let me see the picture.
So at that point, he already gave me a deposit, and we figured that we would tile the whole floor until the bathtub, and once he got the bathtub repaired, then we would finish the tile. So we left.
Yeah, but you say we. Who's we? That's you.
My guy.
Yeah, right. Okay. He was like, wait, what are you talking about? I thought I was going to have a finished bathroom for $1,600 because I understand. I come from a contractor family. I understand that sometimes there's hidden problems that you can't see. You, like a responsible contractor, actually put that in the invoice. Any extra labor and or materials may result in additional pricing. What you don't say, that's kind of what you should say. What you should really say is any hidden, we can't guarantee hidden whatever, because you, unlike what I expected to see in this contract, I thought it was just going to say, hey, I'm a tile guy, I'm tiling the floor. But it actually says repair floor area next to bathtub. You quoted him a price for it, and then you didn't do it. So he wants a precious little amount back. He wants $300 back for that.
Well, what we did is when we stopped the tile, there was a square footage amount left, so I refunded him.
Is this the new tile?
No, that's the
linoleum.
That's the linoleum, and that's the rot next to the tub. That's the severity of it.
How'd you come up with the figure 300?
Because that's when
originally he had set up.
Yes, that's what he said, 300 to repair the floor. And then we added the rest of the stuff in to bring it up to 1,200.
Okay.
So I'm on the.
So now you claim you were starting to tell me that you refunded him something. What did you refund?
Right, for the tile that wasn't installed.
Yeah, but that's different. According to your own quote, that is a separate item you were hired for, to tile. You were also hired to repair, which you admit you didn't do.
That would be the subfloor. That would have been the
yes,
tile
I know what subfloor is, but yes or no? Did you quote him a price of $1,200, which included repairing the floor?
Correct.
Did you repair the floor?
No.
All the guy wants is $300.
But I sent him a
I don't care that you already refunded him 100 and something for not tiling what you didn't tile, duh. But what he wants is $300 back for not repairing the floor. And repairing the floor should be a much bigger chunk of that $1,200. That's what I'm not getting.
Well, we didn't know the extent of the damage until we lifted the linoleum up.
Yeah, I wouldn't quote a figure for repairing a floor. You don't know the extent of the damage.
That was my mistake. It was underneath the linoleum.
Right.
And obviously it's been leaking for years, so the right way to repair it.
I know. All you got to do is rip up the linoleum and you'd have seen it, right? Yeah. All right. I'm going to order you to return the $300. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
All right, full size on right, please.
All right, so here he is, the defendant, after learning from the judge that you'll be paying that man back what you owe him. What's your reaction to this?
I gave him a refund. I guess somebody's always looking for something for nothing.
Well, you quoted a price on a job, and then you found out the job wasn't really what you expected it to be, right? All right. And whose fault is that?
That's my fault.
Okay, so you admit that. $300, that's not so much for him.
No, not too bad.
All right. Learn from that mistake, and you do okay. All right, so step in here. You satisfied how this winds up now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. You just have to be more careful when you choose people to work on your house.
What do you think the lesson in all of this is?
From now on, I'll make anybody that works on my house go downtown and get a permit, and so I'll have some other back.
Oh, you're going to do it the legal way from now on, huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. All right, over to Harvey then.
Okay, what he's not telling you is put a cap on what you can pay. Make him commit to a cap. That way you won't be badly surprised.